So Peter and John heal this beggar in Acts chapter 3, and it blows everybody's mind. They know there has to be something going on that's bigger than these two guys that used to be fishermen could ever do on their own. There has to be something miraculous. They all knew this beggar his whole life. They saw him every day begging outside this beautiful gate, and they know that now he's walking and jumping and praising God. Something real happened. Something massive happened. That's always the hope that we have in God. Somehow or another, where He does a miracle, or there's countless other ways He works, He always, if we're looking, He's always going to give us something that shows that there's something supernatural, something bigger than the natural going on. But there's also some surprises. There's also some things that we don't want to admit is also on the table as a possibility. Watch what happens next in Acts chapter 4. It says, Peter and John were speaking to the people. The priests and the captain of the temple guard and the Sadducees came up to the apostles. They were very upset by what the apostles were teaching the people. The apostles were saying that because Jesus rose from the dead, people can be raised from the dead. And so the temple authorities arrested Peter and John. It was already evening, so they put them in prison until the next day. But many who heard the message believed, and the number of men who believed grew to about 5,000. Notice a couple things going on here really quickly. Number one, a bunch of people are still responding to the gospel, even as they see Peter and John being arrested and taken off to get beaten and taken off to get imprisoned for their faith. When God is really moving, the people that are telling this story, the exact circumstances aren't as important as that God Himself is moving. Always watch for God Himself moving in the midst of it all. We're all flawed people. We all mess up sometimes. But somehow or another, that's that. But here's the other thing. If you feel like God is letting you down, if you feel like God promised you that if you follow Him, nothing bad would ever happen to you, you're not actually reading your Bible. These guys are doing everything right at that moment. Peter and John both made a lot of mistakes, but right at that moment, those weren't mistakes. They're faithfully following Jesus, faithfully sharing the truth, faithfully leading thousands to Him, even in the midst of this moment. But they are being led to prison. They are being beaten for their faith and for what they're doing. When we all face hard times, don't be surprised by it. Jesus never promised we wouldn't have hard times. In fact, He promised in the Gospel of John that we would, but that He would be there with us. He would still keep the supernatural stuff going. That's what we need to find hope in. Hope you find hope in that today.